All right, here we go. Today is the 23rd. Okay, today is the 23rd. And we are going to be working on our warm-ups. In the last class, I did not get a chance to do the workbook problems, but hopefully we'll be able to get the workbook problems in. I don't know. We'll see. Um, depends on how many questions we have. We are going to try to do notes on functions today, but we spent a lot of time on literal equations because that was something that people still needed help with. So it could go either way. Either way we go, tomorrow we're going to submit assignments and we're going to have our quiz on literal equations. All right. You don't have homework on Friday with the exception if you have makeup work. Remember, listen, this is super important because I keep getting these questions. Your grade, when I go in and grade, it's going to be a 0 if you haven't submitted yet. It stays a 0 until I go back in and grade again. Okay, so it's very important. You turn your work in. You do have time to get things in. If you want to make your grade better, this is how you make your grade better. Listen, you go back and redo the assignment and resubmit. It's just that simple. You don't have to ask me for extra credit. Do the regular stuff first. Then if you do everything that you're supposed to do and your grade is not the way you like for it to look, which is completely impossible. And if you need extra credit, then that's when we start talking about extra credit. But you need to do the regular stuff first because the title of it is extra. So you need to do the regular stuff first before you start talking about extra. Okay? It's not grade replacement. To me, it's grade replacement when people say, well, can I do some extra credit to make up for a 0? That's not extra credit. That's grade replacement. Extra means I did everything I was supposed to do and I still need something more. Okay? All right. I needed to explain that because some people get lost when you say it. All right. So we're going to do our warm-up. I'm going to go around and check the homework. So please have the homework ready for me. Please have the homework ready for me. So you are working on the warm-up. I'm going to pause here for the calls. Okay, good folks. Let's look at. Go ahead.
I don't put repeating because it doesn't show that sign.
Yeah, it's repeating. It only can go to the edge of the screen. So that is repeating. Okay. So I'm not going to do all of these, but you can ask me for help with any of them. I'm not going to do them all though. Anybody need help with number 1, number 2, number 3? Okay. So number 3, to write this as a decimal, you should know this is 3 and 1/3. What's 1/3 as a decimal? 0.3 repeating. Then what's the square root of 11? You type it in. Square root of 11. Sorry. What is it? See? Okay, 3.31. Yes. And then 11 divided by 3. That's 3. 6 repeating, right? And 10% of this, 3.33. Okay. 11 divided by 3. All right, so now which one of these is it says least. Which one is the smallest? Yeah, this one is the smallest. So that's the square root of 11. Which one is the next to the smallest? 3. This one right here, the last one. Okay, you see, because this 3 is going to go on forever. And this is 0 here. Okay, so this is the next one's going to be the 10% of 33.3. Okay, so that's that one. And which one did we do? That one. Okay, so what's the next to the smallest? Okay, 3 and 1/3. And then the last one is what? 11/3. Okay, that's the order. All right, so this one is repeating. This is 3 over what number? 9. Then the reduce by dividing both the top and the bottom by 3. And that gives us one what?
1/3.
1/3. Okay. All the sets that this belong to, it's all, every number is a real number. Is this rational or irrational? This is irrational. Okay, so now let's divide, not divide, let's divide. Yes, divide. We're going to divide 6.2 and 3. Okay, so when we divide here, we can't divide this decimal because it's not a whole number. So move the decimal. So this is a whole number, so we moved it once here. So however many times you move it here, you have to move it here. So that's one time. How many times will 31 go into 62? 2 times. This gives me 62, 0 remaining. So this is going to be 2. Now we got to divide 10 to the 5th power divided by 10 to the 3rd. When you divide exponents with like bases, you subtract the exponents. So this is 5 minus 3. What's 5 minus 3? 2. So this is 2 or 2.0 times 10 to the 2nd power. Okay? Any questions?
No.
All right. Let's look at the homework. Anybody still copying before I move on? Homework, please. All right, we already did that very first problem. Are there any questions about last night's homework? Does anybody need any of the ones from last night? Yes.
7.
All right, number 7. Number 7 looks like this. This is 5C. This is from Wednesday. And we're doing number 7, somebody said. Because we already did number 1. Number 7 says, let me draw a line here so you can kind of see it. It says, using the formula from problem 6. This is the formula from problem 6. So we write that down. C is equal to 5 over 9. Don't get this one wrong because I'm going to take points off your homework if this wrong. Why? Because I'm giving you the answer. There's no reason for us to get this wrong. So we have parentheses, Fahrenheit, minus 32. Okay? So now look at what it's telling you to do. Using that problem, formula from that problem, it says if the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, so it's giving you C. It's giving you Celsius. So C here is equal to 25. Then what is the temperature for Fahrenheit? So what is F? So you're solving for F. So we're going to replace C with 25. So this is going to be 25 is equal to 5 over 9, parentheses, F minus 30, 32. All right, so you have to get F by itself. In order to get F by itself, okay, all right, so in order to get F by itself, we got to get rid of the 5 over 9 first. This is being multiplied. So you're going to divide this on both sides. When you divide a fraction, that is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of 5 over 9? So you're going to multiply both sides by 9 over 5. Thank you, babe. All right, so here, I'm going to multiply this whole number by putting a 1 under it. Okay, look. If I want to make my number smaller before I multiply straight across, look and see if I can reduce diagonally. Here I can't, but here I can. 5 will go into both of these numbers without a remainder. So 5 goes into 5 one time, and 5 goes into 25 5 times. Okay? So now that makes these numbers smaller. 9 times 5 when I multiply straight across is what? 45. 1 times 1 is going to give me 1. Bring down my equal. Oops, sorry, y'all. Here, when I multiply both sides by 9 over 5, that got rid of this fraction right here. So I'm just left with this that's in the parentheses, F minus 32. That's what I'm left with. Any questions about that? So really, this is just 45 is equal to F minus 32. Now how do I get F by itself? Yes. Add 32 on both sides. So when I add 32 on both sides, what does that give me? 77. So F is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Any questions about that? Okay. Any other questions about Wednesday's homework from last night? Any other questions? Okay, so let's look at you good. Are you good? Okay. Let's look at Thursday, please. Okay, guys, please write this down. This is Thursday. You can go ahead and start Thursday right now. No excuses. Isn't today Thursday?
Yes.
So we do 5D.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the books.
Uh-uh. I was like, you got me thinking I'm crazy. Well, I mean, I kind of am, but you know what I mean. So we got 5D. This is Thursday. Yes, babe. Did somebody go to the bathroom? Maybe not. Go ahead. I couldn't remember. I'm sorry. Hurry back quickly, okay? Because I want you to have it. Yes, babe. Hmm? Can you blow your nose? Yeah. Of course you can. That's a new one. I've never had anybody ask me that question. So that's why I was looking at you like, that's really nice if you ask. Because nobody's ever asked me that in my life. But there's the tissue, sir. Step outside the door and blow away.
Outside.
Yeah, step outside the door.
I mean, outside.
Nobody's ever asked me, so that was funny. All right, so let's look at the first problem. Come on, we're not getting this one wrong tonight.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get it. It says Joe's investment of $500, it grew at a rate of 10% every year, or each year, or per year. So all we're doing, that's all it's doing, is growing 10%. That's pretty good. Every single year, okay? We're going to write a next now equation to find out how much money that he's going to have after 8 years. Why is it so important, Miss Reyes, to write next now equation? Because for these particular situations, you can't just find the answer one time and multiply it times 8 years. Because every year is going to be a different amount. You've got to take the percentage for each year. You can't just multiply it times 8 and that's your answer. Because after each year that it grows, you have to find a percent of that. Then there's a new amount the next year, and you have to find a percent of that. So you can't just find it one time and then multiply that times 8. It does not work that way. So that is the whole purpose. That's why we're writing these as next now equations. Are any questions about that part? Okay. What was the first thing that we did to write a next now equation? Go back and look. Yes, what do you think? You write starting at. You have to write what number you're starting at. Yes, baby.
So we write starting or the number?
Starting at. You write it. Starting at. Okay. So what number are we starting with? $500. Okay. Come on, Parrot. Let's get this.
Not me.
Well, at least you know your name. All right. Okay, so what do we write next?
You said next.
Next. What else?
Now.
Equals now. So now is the current amount. The first current amount is 500 when you are doing this equation. All right, so we have to figure out what are we going to do to the current amounts every single year. So what is it telling us that they want us to do every single year? How is it growing? 10%. So we got to find 10% and add it back. Okay? So you're going to say times 10%. You got to do this part first. So let me show you this. because Max, you had this question the last time, so we're gonna see if you really understood what I was talking about. So look, if we take 10% of 500, let's type in 500. 500 times 0.10. That's 10% in the calculator as a decimal. Press enter. How much is that? 50. Is that how much total that he's gonna have?
No.
It is not. That's just the amount that is gonna increase. So you have to take this and do what? Add what? Add the 500 or what every time? The now.
Not 500.1.
No, I don't know what you talking. I don't know what you type in. Let me see. You ain't type that in right.
You said 500 plus.
No, I didn't say plus. This is not plus. It's times. You be twisting up my words, sir. All right, so let's type this in. Let's clear our calculator out. How do we clear the calculator altogether?
7 plus 712.
Second plus 712. Second plus 712. Right, I know, me too. That's what I heard too. I heard the same thing. All right, so now we're going to type this in, okay? So when we type this in, the first thing that we have to do, anybody remember what we typed in first? Yes. 500 and then equals. Great job. The calculator stores this as the first number. You are telling the calculator to use this number first. Okay? Press the starting amount and then enter. All right, I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see something just fly over. You know, you tried to hurt Summer. Why are you doing that? All right, here we go. So now we're going to press parentheses. Press the parentheses. And now, what is now in the calculator? Yes. Second negative sign. Great job. Okay, that's now in the calculator.
The now stands for the 500.
Yes, the now stands for the 500. Yes. But the 500 is going to change every single time. So we can't just type in 500 because it's going to change every year. Do you understand that? Okay. So now we type in what after that? Times. Then what? Then what? And, very good. Plus answer second. I know. I know. Don't give him that. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to come over and help you. All right. So look, when we press enter, this is 1 year. Then 2 years. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how much money is that?
1,000.
All right, $1,071 and how much cents? 79 cents. Okay, any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
Good deal.
What did he say?
This is number 1. Got it? Yes, baby. Yeah, that's the same thing. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. All right, look at this. Okay, good people. Number 2, all you're doing is substituting here. I'm just making sure we understand because remember, I don't go over these on Fridays because we have our quiz and I want you to have enough time. So this is what I'm doing now. You're going to substitute this value in. Any questions about how to answer number 2? All right. Yes.
So you use the 5 times 2.5.
Minus 8. Yes. Yes,
That's
sir.
how we write it.
That's how you write it. You scare me sometimes, Caleb.
Because I had
You do. N is equal to 2.1, and you're finding 5n minus 8. So all you're doing is plugging this in. Okay. It's not brain surgery. You see? And in order of operation.
Would you get it?
Stop. Don't you do that. Don't you start that foolishness. All right. So look, which number is rational? You have to pick the number or numbers that are rational. Okay? Then what, you got a question about that too? Okay. Number 4, it says the age of the child and the weight of the child. Which one of these is going to be dependent on the other? Okay, which one would we, number 4 is which one would we graph along the x-axis and which one we graph along one. Remember, whatever we graph along the x-axis is the independent. That's the independent variable. This is my dependent variable. So what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Go ahead. The age would be the independent. Age is not affected by the what? The weight. But the weight is affected by age. Because if let's pray that a person that is 1 year old doesn't weigh 80 pounds. Okay? Maybe a sumo wrestler, but let's just pray that that's not the case. So you see how your weight is affected by the age, but not the other way around. Max, be quiet. Y'all mean.
What?
Okay, so look at this. For number 5, you're going to substitute this value for x into this equation and find the answer for y. Simple. Number 6, hush, zip.com. Number 6, you write this equation down, or formula, sorry. And which one did they give you? Did they give you C or did they give you F? They gave us F. What's F equal to in number 6? Very good. It's equal to 86. So you're going to substitute 86 for F and solve for C. For number 7, you're going to use the same formula. Which one did they give you for number 7? They give you C or they give you F? C. C is 10. So plug 10 in and find the answer. All right. Range. How do you find range?
By subtracting the biggest number from the
Okay, so what's the biggest number here? It's 15. It's right here. So you're going to say 15 minus what? 5. Okay. What's very good? You're going to get 10 for the range. Interquartile range. What numbers do I subtract for that? 13 and the 8 right here. And what is the median? 10 is the median. Okay. Now you're going to figure out which one of these has the least amount. Do the same thing that we did in the warm-up. Find 10% of this and then type this in to see what the decimal is and then find the smallest value. Number 10. Yes, babe.
Whenever we do the 158 root,
Whenever you do what, baby?
the 158, we just press enter for it.
That's right. Because remember the square root button? The square root button is right here. Second x squared. And then you type in 158 and press enter. Okay. All right, this one right here, the table. Pay attention. In the table, what you do, you got to show your work. Some of you are not doing that. Showing your work means you're going to plug this value into the equation. So y is equal to 4, x is 2. That's negative 2. So we got times negative 2 minus 6. So you figure out what this is. Then you have y is equal to 4 times 0 minus 6. Figure out what this is. Put it here. Then you have y is equal to 1. Y is equal to 4 times 1 minus 6. And figure out what that is. Then the last one you have y is equal to what? 4 times what? 2 what? Minus 6. And find those answers. Any questions about that? That's how you show your work. If you haven't been doing that, shame on you. But even worse, when you turn it in, I'm not giving you a full credit, okay?
I showed my work.
All right, take out your interactive notebook, okay? We're going to go through the even problems. Remember from the half sheet, we already did the odd. We need to do the even. We're going to go through the even problems. We did the odd already. You're doing the even. Your quiz is tomorrow. Please make sure, y'all. Please make sure you study. Okay?
Study.
That's what I said.
Are we having a test?
Nah.
No.
We're just gonna do a super hard.
Yeah.
So we're doing the even. All right. Number 2. We have A is equal to 2 parentheses L plus W. We are solving for W. Solve for W. That means we got to get W by itself. Please pay attention because you are going to see problems like this on your quiz. To get W by itself, what do I have to do first? Anybody? No, we're not. Divide by 2. If you distribute, then you have to get rid of the 2 that you distribute. There ain't no need to do double work. Go ahead and get rid of the 2. So since this is multiplication, to get rid of the 2 that's being multiplied to all of this, just divide by 2. So you're going to divide by 2 on both sides. Okay? When you divide by 2 on this side, you're going to get A. You don't know what A is. So just leave it as A divided by 2, please. Leave it as A divided by 2. You don't know what A is. Leave it. Here, you have 2 divided by 2. That gets rid of the 2's. And you're left with what's in the parentheses.
L plus W.
L plus W. Questions about that? When you see a problem as such, that's what you need to do first. Okay? Now, how do you get W by itself? Subtract L. So you're going to subtract L. Shh, guys, don't do that. We're going to subtract L on both sides. So this gives me A divided by 2 on this side minus what? L. They are not like terms. Do not try to subtract. I don't know how you would, but don't try to do that. On this side, the L's are gone, and you're left with just what? So you can write it just like this, or you can write it as W is equal to A divided by 2 minus what? L. This means the same thing. Any questions about that? All right, great. Number 4, stay focused. Write this down. All right, so let's do number 4. Number 4, you have 2x minus 3y is equal to 8. Here, we are solving for y. So solve for y. Okay? So now you got to get y by itself. Think about it. You got a question, babe?
No.
Okay, how do you get y by yourself over here? Shh, guys, be quiet. No, don't point, because main corporate. So to get y by itself, you have to get rid of this. Right. So how do I get rid of a positive 2x? Subtract it. So we're going to subtract 2x on both sides. This is gone now, and I'm left with negative 3y is equal to, I cannot combine them. Bring them both down. 8 was there first. So put 8 minus the 2x. I still got to get y by itself. So how do I get rid of the negative 3? Yes. Divide everything by negative 3. Okay? So here when you divide both sides by negative 3, this gives you y is equal to what? 8 minus 2x. Very good. And that's it. This is your answer. Okay? You don't know what x is. Leave it. Any questions? We'll pause for the calls, give you a chance to write. Number 6. We got y is equal to mx plus b. We are solving for b. How do we get b by itself here? Yes. Minus mx. Good job. So when you subtract mx on both sides, this gives you y minus equals what? That's it. Don't forget that you could also see it like this. B is equal to y minus mx. Don't forget you can see it like this too. Okay? Number 8. This is one that people had a lot of questions about. So focus on how to do number 8. A is equal to, you're probably going to have one like this. Yeah, you are going to have one like this. 1/2 h parentheses b plus c. All right, here we're solving for b. So that means we got to get b by itself. Okay? So watch what Miss Reyes does. The first thing I want to do is get rid of the 1/2. And this is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. When you divide a fraction, that means you multiply by its reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of, parrot? Stop. What's the reciprocal of 1 over 2? 2 over 1. So that's 2. So you multiply both sides by 2. That's how you get rid of the 1/2. Okay, what's your question, babe?
It's 1/2 of each. Wouldn't that be more?
I'm going to do one at a time because it would be confusing to do them both at the same time. If it was just the whole number, that would be easy. Just divide by both. But since it's a fraction, just take care of the fraction first and then go back and do the h. All right, so to get rid of the fraction, you're going to multiply all of this by the 2. Okay, so this on this side gives me 2a, and on this side, the fraction cancels out. So now we're left with h in parentheses b plus c. Okay, this is the easiest thing to do is get rid of the fraction first. Don't try to do both of them at the same time because that's confusing. Now we can get rid of the h like you talked about. H is being multiplied. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So we're going to divide both sides by lowercase h. So this gives me 2a divided by h is equal to, and this is gone, okay? And we're left with b plus what? C. Now what do we do to get b by itself? Yes. Subtract b on both sides. Oh, sorry. You're right. Sorry. I'm sorry. We're getting b by itself. We got to subtract c. Good job. All right. So on this side, we have the 2a divided by h, and we're subtracting c, minus c. On this side, we got rid of the c's, and we're left with b. So the other way to write this is b is equal to 2a divided by h minus c. This is the other way to write it.
I got that.
Good. Okay. All right. Before we run out of time, there were questions about number 14 and 16. So I'm going to skip down because the other ones are very similar to each other. Number 10. Oh, somebody had a question about number 10. So let me go ahead and do that. We have 4 is equal to 4. I said that the last class. We have a is equal to 4 pi r squared. This is saying solve for r squared. That means all you're doing is getting r squared by itself. So what's attached to r squared? 4 pi. That's okay, baby. So in order to get rid of 4 pi that's being multiplied, you have to divide both sides by 4 pi. So when you divide both sides by 4 pi, on this side you get a divided by 4 pi. And on this side, you're just left with the r squared. So this is your answer. Or you can say r squared is equal to a divided by 4 pi. Okay? Same thing. 12. Please stop doing that, baby. Please make sure that you answer number 12. 12 is 7x minus y is equal to 14. Leave enough space to answer that if you haven't done it already, okay? 14. We're going to do 14. R is equal to E divided by I. And we're solving for I. No, I'm going to go over this with you, babe. Just in case, because people had questions about. All right, so look. To make this problem easy, all you're going to do is make this part into a fraction by sticking a 1 under it. So now it's a proportion. So when you solve a proportion, you just use cross multiplication. That makes this problem so much easier. So what you have is I times, well, let's do this way first. E times 1 is just E. And R times I is RI or IR. Okay? Alphabet, I comes before R. Now to get I by itself, I just get rid of the R. R is being multiplied. What's the opposite of multiplication? So we're going to divide both sides by R. So on this side, we get E divided by R. Bring down the equal sign. And here we get what? I. Another way to write that is I is equal to E divided by R.
Why
Yes.
do you do that right there?
Which one?
Cross multiplication.
Because I is on the bottom. And you would have to multiply by the reciprocal anyway. So just making it into cross multiplication is actually making the problem easier. So you're going to do the same thing with 16. Any other questions about 14? So when you see a problem like that, write it as a proportion so that you can cross multiply.
Right, 1 in the bottom.
1 at the bottom.
Are we
Yeah.
gonna have a question on bottom plus?
Yes, you probably will. Yes. That's why I'm making sure I work them out. All right. All good questions. All good questions. Number 16. Stay focused, guys. Stay focused, please. We got A is equal to R divided by 2L. R divided by 2L. Okay, look at this. You're going to do the exact same thing we did before. Make this into a fraction by putting what under it? A 1. Now what are we going to do? Use what? Cross multiplication. So when we cross multiply, we have A times 2L. So we got, let's do it in alphabetical order. 2AL. And on the other side, we got 1 times, what letter was that? R, which is equal to R. So now, here, number 16, I forgot what it said we were solving for. Solving for what? L. Okay, so we got to get L by itself. Yes, baby.
Does it have to be in alphabetical?
Usually, the reason why I do that is because most of the time on tests, it's written in alphabetical order, and I don't want you to get confused if you see it in a different order. All right, so how do we get L by itself? What do we do? Yes. Divide by 2A. Good job, babe. So we're going to divide both sides by 2A. So 2A divided by 2A gives me 1 here, and I'm left with L is equal to R over what? 2A. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
What's your question, baby?
I think you didn't do number 12.
She said we have to do that one.
You got to do that one on your own. Do it yourself. Shh. Okay, just do it yourself. All right, keep going. Shh. Guys, keep going. Keep going, please. 18.
So you didn't do L because there was a sign there. Multiplication.
Say again, baby.
You didn't do L because there was
I did do L. Look,
no,
it says
you didn't multiply it or divide it with the 2A together because it's
no, because I'm solving for it. So I'm trying to get L by itself.
So if you weren't trying to solve that,
If you were trying to solve A, then you get rid of 2L. Since you're trying to solve for L, you get rid of 2A. So you have to isolate the one. You have to get whatever it says solving for. Guys, stop talking, please. Stop talking. Whichever one you're trying to get by itself is the one you got to get rid of the other stuff. So if I'm trying to get L by itself, I got to get rid of 2A. If I was trying to get A by itself, I would try to get rid of the 2L. So whichever one we're solving for, get it by itself. Okay. 18. 18 is 12x minus 4y is equal to 20. You can do that on your own. You're solving for y. You get y by itself. And then 20, you have p is equal to r minus c divided by n. Very carefully. Here we're solving for r. Solve for r. Yes, babe.
will we have to take a picture of this and put it on the thing?
No, this is in your notebook.
That's
No,
what I
she'll-
said.
She'll like grade your
Oh, yeah, I'm going to grade your notebook, but you have to put your pages in your notebook on the interactive notebook tab. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to take a picture.
You are going to have to take a picture. Yes. All right, here we go. In order to get R by itself, what do I have to move here first? Yes, the N. How do I move the N? Times it. So you're going to multiply both sides by N. Alphabetical order, which one comes first, N or P? So we got NP, bring down the equal, The n's cancel out, and I have r minus c. Now, how do I get r by itself? I add c. So this is going to give me n p plus c is equal to r. Or you write it as r is equal to np plus c. Any questions about that? Okay, please go ahead and finish the two problems that I told you to finish, 18 and 12, because I'm going to be looking for those problems in your notebook. Will you finish copying? All right, row 1 and 2, you can put your calculators back. Yes. All right, any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay.